What's up, Rolos, and welcome to the Millennial Rolodex. How is everybody's first week of 2026 going? It's really crazy. It's really insane to think that we are in our first week of 2026. And I'll tell you, it's going pretty good for me. I feel good. If you hear that little jingling sound, that's me jingling some partially frozen blueberries, because I'm on a crazy blueberry kick recently. And now I got frozen blueberries in my mouth, and everybody knows when you podcast, it's very good to eat things on the air. I'm not going to do that again because eating frozen foods is not good for when you need to talk. So what's up? My year is going good so far. Now we all last week on last week's Rolodex, I was talking about how we all have these resolutions, we all have these things that we want to do, and I hope you're all doing them. I hope you're all crushing life, or just being your doing things that you're happy with yourself doing, whatever that is. Me, I really have been feeling good. I've been feeling like I've been following this at least a little bit. I've been one of the things that I wanted to do to get to kind of kickstart was eating clean. I've been eating pretty clean now, pretty much. I don't know why. I think I heard this somewhere. I think I heard somebody say this, but I've been eating a lot of fruit, strictly fruit, the last couple of days, and then I'll eat dinner, a regular dinner. But I've just been eating a bunch of fruit, like apples, oranges, blueberries, mangoes. Those specifically, and I've just been feeling great. I don't know, my body it feels like very clean, and it feels it's almost like a fast. It's a fruit fast, I guess, but I'm not just eating fruit. I'm eating dinner as well, but it's been feeling great. So I've been trying to eat cleaner. I've been doing my calisthenics, my little workouts, which was another resolution sort of thing, a thing to live harmoniously. So I've been doing some calisthenics. I've been going for runs. I've been doing things that I feel that are beneficial for me to reach a next level of consciousness for myself. So I've been meditating a little bit. Every day I try to meditate for at least 5-10 minutes. Just sit down and just close my eyes. I've been off my phone a lot less. Still listening to my podcast and some shows and stuff. But yeah, I've been cleaning my head out a lot. It's actually funny. This brings me to, so I've been meditating. I've been reading. I started reading again, reading every day, trying to read at least 10 to 20 pages a day at least. I'm not putting a number on it, but I'm picking up a book and reading every day. I am writing every day. I'm writing in my journal. I have my journal. I've been writing in my journal every day, no matter what it is. What if it's just what I did, or some ideas, some crazy lofty ideas that I have. And the only thing I haven't done yet is start writing a script. So that's something that I have to sit down and actually do, because that's part of my resolution, or part of my resolution / what I want. How do I want to evolve my consciousness? So, and just what that means to me is just simply evolving into, or living a life that I want to live, essentially. And it's so funny because I was thinking this. I was talking to Mara Lady, and we were talking about the world and stuff, getting into deep conversations. And I forgot how it came up, but I said, it's so funny because the last 2 weeks of the year, it's just the holidays, New Year's Eve, Christmas and New Year's Eve, and everybody's happy. Obviously everybody has their problems on holidays, but for the most part, everybody is in better spirits. Everybody's more caring, loving, and just in a better mood. So Christmas comes, and then New Year comes, and everybody says Happy New Year, smiles, right before New Year's, and then New Year's. So I was thinking, I was like, why don't people just have this energy all the time? And Mara Lady said something. She was like, you kind of embody that, meaning me specifically. She was saying that you kind of embody how you say things, because you kind of are like that all the time. And I try to be, at least I try to be nice and loving and caring. But we were talking, and I was thinking, why don't people really have that love for each other all the time? Or at least they do, but why don't they act upon it? Is it our lives are too stressful, especially living in New York? New York is such a hustle. I have to get mine and I can't worry about if you get yours kind of thing. And that honestly could be unfortunate for us as a culture and us as an individual, because of all the suffering that happens around us. We kind of could feel that. I believe in, vibrations and feel energy. We could feel that energy. And that's why a lot of times, I would say probably post holidays, post New Year's, everybody is maybe in a depressive state, because after all of that, after all of the happiness and goodness, then it's back to reality, and everybody's reality is just boring and suffering and anxiety. How am I going to get paid? I need more money. I need more this. I need more that. And it's just kind of like how I see life is, you don't need any of that. You don't need money. You don't need, not that you don't need money, but you don't need more than what you have. If you have food, if you have shelter, if you have people that care about you, which if you say I don't have people that care about you, I care about you. And that's something that it sounds corny, but it's true. Like, I am there. I feel like I have a love for everybody. And I think a lot of people have a love for me. And even like as friends or whatever, like you'll see coworkers, whatever, people will really sit down, and I think they care. I think we all care for each other if we're going through something, or if times are hard and somebody sees it on your face or you see it on somebody else's face. Just be just be the person that you are, and just be there for them. Listen to them, talk to them, give them a ear, and just remind them that everything's going to be okay, because it truly everything is okay. All the time. Doesn't matter if you lose your job, you lose your house, you lose whatever, you're okay. Everything, we go through things as people, and we, this, once again, this is like a hokey, corny, inspirational thing, but I truly I full-heartedly, I don't know if that's a saying, believe this is we're all here for each other, and you'll be okay no matter what. You'll come back stronger, I believe, and more wise. And I just, I have this optimism for us as individuals. When we start to get once again, in what was it, in Men in Black, people are smart. A person's smart, people are dumb. Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black, because it's like he's talking about aliens or whatever, disclosing aliens, that's funny. That's what he was saying then. I think we should rewatch Men in Black, if I'm being honest, now that I'm just going on a crazy side thing. But it's true, I think as single people, to go back to what I was saying, as single people, as individuals, we are very loving, caring, intelligent, and nuanced. But as a group, and that's kind of what we see in cultures, the group is loud, and the group is, anytime, in my opinion, you have group think, it never is nuanced or empathetic, really. It's always just loud and black and white. So if, like I said, try to have that holiday spirit all the time, because I think that we all, for the most part, love and care for each other and are there for each other. So let's move with love, guys. Let's try to start 2026 right and keep it going. And keep doing whatever you're doing. If you didn't start it yet, start it. If you want to start it tomorrow, start it tomorrow. If you wanted to start it yesterday, build a time machine and go back in time and start it then. But anything you're doing is amazing. You're great. You're enough. You don't have to do anything. You could sit there. You could sit there all day and stew in your problems. That's okay. We've all been there. We're gonna be there in the future. I'm almost positive. But right now we're in the moment and we're on the Rolodex. So with that being said, let's get into the first spin of the Rolodex. This is really coming together now, by the way, guys. I was actually talking to one of my coworkers too, and if he's listening right now, he knows who he is. Thank you for listening. But he asked me about, because he didn't know I started this podcast again. This podcast, I had another show, and he asked me. He was like, "Let me ask you a question. You used to do the show, and I used to watch it. Do you still have that in you?" And then I told him, I was like, "Oh, I actually started a new podcast called the Millennial Rolodex," and he actually started listening to it. He said, "Oh, I'm going to start to listen to it now." And I said, "Don't feel obligated. If you like it, you like it." He's like, "No, I'm going to listen to it." So I haven't seen him since then, but he because I know he also wanted to he wants to do a podcast as well, and he's going to do it. I know he's going to do it, and he's been setting it up. But he said to me, I said, so he asked me if I did. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to listen." I said, "Oh, why did you ask that?" Because it kind of came out of nowhere. And he said, "Oh, because I've had my podcast. I set it up. I set everything up, and I'm going to start it." And I said, if I could, and I said this to him, which is true, and I truly mean this. If you listen to the show, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know what's going on. So and this is exactly what I said to him. I was like, if anything, bro, I'm trying to inspire you and other people. Like, if this idiot could do it, meaning me, then anybody could do it. Because you listen to this, and it's like, you just have to start it and figure out what it is. And that's all you have to do, figure out things that you like to talk about, things that you don't like to talk about. I have several friends that I told that I do this because I don't really advertise this, but if I told some of my close people, some of my closest friends and stuff that I think would enjoy it, and a lot of them have their own ideas for podcasts and stuff, and for me that is amazing. And I think that this show is an inspiration, not because it's so good, but the opposite. That's because it's so raw, and it's so this is not perfect. I don't even know what I'm doing. I just kind of record. I just start recording. I have topics and I just record. So anybody could do this. So if you have a topic you want to talk about, or you don't even have a topic, you just want to start talking into a microphone, just do it. If it's a passion that you have, just do it, because clearly, like me, you don't have to be good at this. So it's going to be fine. Just try it out and just keep it going. And if you have 0 listeners or 3 listeners or whatever, I'll listen to it. I love listening to podcasts and people talk real about things that they're passionate about. So, or passions that they have. So yeah, just do it and figure it out as you go along. 'Cause that's how you become good at anything. And that's also the problem. I think that's also the problem with social media as well, is that, and with just like instant reactions to everything, is that everybody's so ready to say, "Oh, Millennial Rolodex sucks. Oh, Millennial Rolodex is great," or this or that. Or just, if it's great, that's positive reinforcement, so you feel good. But so like that's amazing. But the negative stuff, like, "Oh, you're not good at podcasting. Oh, this kid's horrible. It's not like this podcast or this podcast." So you have to take your licks, or the possibility of people thinking that you're not good, or why are you doing this or that, because guess what? You're not going to be good at anything you do when you first started out. So just start it out and then learn as you go. And if you never get better, you'll be like me. So it's fine. And I still do it. And I'm never going to stop doing this. So screw you, haters. Just kidding. I love you too. I love my haters. I let my haters be my motivators. Nobody's hating on me, by the way. That's just me talking into the ether to nobody. So what is on the Rolodex for today? Let's spin it. The spin of the Rolodex. You see, I didn't think of that, but now I am going to write that down, because I like that. Spin the Rolodex. So I said I started to do things that I've been wanting to do and kind of have my thing, like meditating, writing in my journal. One of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to read. So I picked up the first book that I picked up this year. It's called The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. And this book, it's like a coming of age woman story. And I'm going to try to sound cool right now. My chick recommended it. She really loves it. No, but my lady recommended this book after she read it. It's a classic. Obviously, it's a modern classic. And it's a woman coming of age story. And she said, she joked around. She was like, if you want to know what it's like to be a woman, or from my perspective, or you have your niece growing up, her perspective, or her what it's going to be like for her growing up, then read this book. And I was like, whatever, bro, I'm not reading a book written by a woman about a woman. But that was a joke. I love books written by women about women. So it's just like, obviously when people recommend you books, you're like, all right, I'll read it, and then eventually you'll get to it. You have to get to anything when you want to get to it. I've noticed also, like whether it's a movie, a book, music, whatever it is, you have to get to this when you want to. You could be recommended it 1,000 times, but until you have that itch to pick it up and watch it, read it, listen to it, you're never going to do it. So the other day I was sitting here, I was like, I got to start reading. I'm working little by little on the things that I'm working little by little on the things that I want that feel harmonious and I want to do, and I feel better when I do it. And so I saw the book on the bookshelf, so I picked it up. I started reading The Bell Jar. And honestly, I think it takes place in the 50s, I believe, and it's about Sylvia Plath's character. In full transparency, I had to look up the character's name because it was from the first person. And so when you're reading a book, she talks about all these other people, the character, but she doesn't. So she'll say the other character's name. So it's so funny because I'll know every other character's name, and I'm in like 25 pages in the book, and I don't even know her name. So her name is Esther Greenwood. So this girl, she's I think 19, and she is from New England, and she's going to the city. She's like, it sounded like a scholarship sort of thing where she's writing like essays, or she wrote articles for a fashion magazine, and they put her and a bunch of girls up in a hotel on a floor, and they all have their own room, and it's just like a girl thing. Obviously it's the 50s, so that's a pretty cool age, by the way. A new term that I heard recently was the atomic age, which I've never heard that term before, and that's the exact age of like it's like the 50s, I think, early 60s. I guess like during the atomic scare with the atom bomb, and then the all of the, if you ever seen, it's like a retro science fiction, so it's like you've probably seen it before. The art is beautiful, so it will be like guys in suits or women in like dresses, and they'll be on like a spaceship or something, or it'll be like a spaceship, like a car spaceship. And so that's like, so it's like that era, it's the atomic age era. And for some reason, why I'm saying that is like I said, I've been starting, I think I've been reading like 10 to, when did I say I was on 25? I think I'm on like page 35. So I've been reading 10, 20 pages a day. I started it like 2 days ago, yesterday, whatever day, I don't know, whatever. I'm on page 35, guys. And the reason why I brought up the atomic age is because the atomic age, it kind of like, her writing is very beautiful and very simple. And it reminds me, as she's writing, it's very soft. It has like a soft, melancholy, it's called prose, I guess. I'm trying to be smart here. So her prose, which I guess is just her writing style. I don't know. Somebody fact check me on this. If you're a book nerd, fact check me. But her prose is very melancholy, but it feels like you can almost feel the fabric, kind of like Mad Men. You could feel the fabric, the show. You could feel the fabric of like the clothing and just the time. I feel like I could see the colors very, very, like I'm in a cloud when I'm reading it, but there's like vibrant colors. I don't know. That's the only way I could describe it. It sounds weird because I'm reading a book. It's reading a book, but it's just so beautiful the way she says. So the way she's writing her prose, and so she's kind of like a New England girl, a small town New England girl, and she keeps on talking about this guy, Buddy, that from home that she's shitting on, which, by the way, it's kind of messed up. She's just like is throwing shots at him out of nowhere all the time, like Tarantino did to Paul Dano, Matthew Lillard, and Owen Wilson. If you know that reference, then you know it. Look it up if not. But she's catching straight. This kid Woody is catching straight, or Buddy is catching strays. She's just will be right. The character will be just writing, like talking, narrating, and he'll be like, "Yeah, like Buddy's such a dickhead. Like, what do you, bro? Leave him alone. He's over there in New England. He just loves you, bro." That being said, I don't know anything about the kid because I'm only on page 35, but I think that's pretty funny. And she's talking about her not roommates, but I guess her neighbors, all the other girls that are in in the suite that are on that scholarship, and it just seems real interesting. It's a really interesting perspective of women in the 50s who maybe, obviously I'm not from that time, but who maybe have had this expectation of life that was how it's supposed to be, and kind of this woman who, I think, like I said, she's a young woman who's kind of about to make career choices and maybe doesn't want to be a wife to a rich guy or a mother or a secretary even, how it seems like it's going. So a very free thinker. It's also noted that Sylvia Plath wrote this. I think she was more of a poet, and this was her only book, and this came out like right before she committed suicide. So that's very interesting. So yeah, so The Bell Jar, I'll keep you guys updated. I really enjoy it, and it's really cool. It's really cool to see it from I think she was she was big on the feminist movement in the 50s, and late, I guess, like her book was, I guess, because she had died. But it's very interesting to hear a woman's perspective of just how she's feeling, like a real artistic, creative perspective. It's actually funny. One of the quotes in the book early on is she's talking about all of her roommates on the floor, and she's in the narration. She's like, "Yeah, we're all on the floor. No guys are allowed." I'm paraphrasing here. No guys are allowed, so all their moms aren't scared that men are going to come up here and deceive us. And I thought that was so funny because I kind of agree with that. I'll be honest with you. I think people deceive people in general, but that is a thought process that I have a decent amount of times. Like, women deceive men, yeah, okay, that's true. 100%, I agree with that. But men also deceive women, and it's so interesting because I have this thought sometimes where is full transparency, obviously, that like, wow, like sometimes like a man could lie and just like ruin a woman's, like deceive a woman into thinking like take a woman is like a beautiful individualistic woman and just like lie to her and be like, yeah, that's great, and just like kind of drag her down to like like a shell form of herself because the man is just like, yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. I love this about you, I love this about you, and then like ultimately wants them to just be this version of themselves that they weren't when they started, but then slowly become. So as a man, honestly, I did have that thought in my life, like, wow, I don't want to like, I guess she used the word deceive, but like I don't want to like ruin this girl, like this lady's life, like, this person's going along life being, this like great person who has all these hopes, ideas, and wishes, and then I just come along and I just ruin it. And I'm not saying that is what I think that I would do, but I think it's a possibility for all of us. And just me coming from a man, we have to hold up our end of our word, I guess you could say, or your end of your word, whatever that is, and try to let people express themselves and be themselves. And for me specifically, my significant other, but for all of us, women do that to men. I think Patrice O'Neal had he's a comedian. He had a really funny thing. And it's like a woman finds a man and she loves the man because the man's a shark. I'm going to mess this joke up. He goes, but she tries to change him into like a fish. And then she turns him into a fish and then she don't want him no more because she loves sharks, and it's like, that's the same thing. That was my Patrice O'Neal, R.I.P. Patrice O'Neal impression. But that's like he's saying a woman falls in love with a man who's a shark and then makes him a fish because she beats the shark out of him, and then she like leaves him because she doesn't like the fish. It's the same concept. Both of them, like man deceives woman, turns woman into this shell of herself. Woman does that to men. So, but I thought that was a really interesting quote that she had, Sylvia Plath in The Bell Jar, the men, and it was just like a little quick blurb, but it was it's just one example of how good her prose is and her writing is, and very simple too. Mary Lady was saying that she's like Charles Bukowski, which I think she's much cleaner. Charles Bukowski, dirty old man who is very crass. I think Sylvia Plath, if I had to compare her to a male counterpart, would probably be a little bit more like, not, Maybe a Fitzgerald. Maybe F. Scotty Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. Kind of gives that kind of a later version of The Great Gatsby vibes a little bit. So that is the book that I'm reading, The Bell Jar. What is the next thing on the Rolodex? Let's spin the Rolodex. That was, I can't believe I did that. That's awkward. Oh yeah, so, and then just, the movies that I've been watching. I watched 3 movies this year so far. And so that's another thing. I want to watch a bunch of movies. I always watch films, and I want to watch more, and I want to start incorporating them more into the podcast. And I had this thing, and this is why I just have to do this now, because I started the podcast, right? And I'm like, I love film. Film is such a big part of my life. I want to put a film part of the podcast, right? So I want to do like a whole podcast dedicated to just film on the Millennial Rolodex. But then you overthink it, and then I don't do it, right? So in full transparency, in the spirit of the show, this is going to be, I'm just going to put the films that I've watched and then talk about them a little bit. So I watched 3 films already this year, and I just want to watch. I think I would love to watch a film a day, because I'm addicted to watching movies, and it's just a creative thing that I really love. It's my art that I love, and and a part of me, and I want to start doing. So it's something that it's just, I love, and it's a part of me. So I watched 3 this year so far, and the first one there, and it's funny, I watched 3 in 2026, but they're all 2025 movies. Trying to catch up. Maybe I'll do a best of 2025 list. But so the first movie I watched, me and my lady went to the movies to see Marty Supreme, directed by Josh Safdie, and starring Timothée Chalamet. It was cool. We went to the movies. We have Regal Unlimited. So Regal Unlimited is when you pay like $25. I think it's like $26.99 now. It keeps on going up. $26.99 a month, and you could see unlimited movies at Regal Cinemas. So it really pays off if you go to the movies at least twice a month. The only problem with this is that so many times there's not even one movie you want to see in a month. Forget a week. A month, there's not even one movie you want to see. So you got to start just going to use it, because you're using what you pay for. So, but then it's great, because then there's some months where like 5 things come out, and you're like, this is great. I'm only paying $26 to see a movie. I'm paying pretty much for 1.5 movies, and I'm seeing 6 movies. So it works out if you're going to go to the movies a lot. I also think we should start going back to the movies more, because that was such a cultural thing back in the day. At least as a millennial, we used to go to the movies the entire day. Me, my best friend growing up, my sister, and his dad, because his dad used to take us to the movies. He used to look in the paper, because that's when the movie times were. In the newspaper, guys. He would take us to the movie theater in Sheepshead Bay. We would go there, and we would go see the first movie, and we would sneak into like 3 other movies. And that's how we saw like 4 movies in one night, and one day, one time, and it was great. And we just kept on sneaking into movie theaters, so it was great. And that's when movie theaters were packed all the time. They were always packed. If you hear banging, somebody's doing some work outside. I don't know. We just deal with that. I think somebody's on the roof. Who knows, man? All right. But that's when movie theaters were packed in like the 90s, early 2000s. And I think that we need to get back to it, because also going to a movie theater is an amazing experience. You literally walk into a movie theater. I love carpet. Carpet is my favorite. We've gone with wood floors now. I don't know. Everybody likes to fucking step on hardwood floors because it looks cool. But carpet, growing up, if you're a millennial, you love carpet. I don't care what you say. We're carpet lovers here. That could be something sexual too, but whatever, however you want to go. We love carpet. Yeah, so you go to there's carpets, there's lights everywhere. It's just like a big spectacle. You go and you sit down, you're there with people seeing this, trying to see the same movie, all snickering about the coming attractions. And then the movie starts and you're just having this communal experience, and it's beautiful. The lights go down, then it's over, you leave. You're out in the world again. You could breathe fresh air, and you're like, what did I just experience? Your reality was all altered. We need to start going back to the movies, guys. As you could tell, I love it. I'm passionate. If you want Regal, 26 a month, 25, 26 a month, you could see unlimited movies. It's also a good experience if you like want to go out for a date night with your significant other. It sounds like they're sponsoring the show. I have no sponsors on the show. I'm just saying, guys, go to the movies, because literally also too, it's so funny. You could see a movie and be like, and you could see a movie on a Tuesday night and nobody's there, or a Wednesday night, nobody's there. I say not Tuesday because that's, I think, the deal day, so there might be more people there. But you could go there on a Wednesday night, nobody's there, and you're literally seeing a new movie on a giant screen, like by yourself for $0, you know? So it's pretty awesome. Let's start doing that. Let's start getting back to it, guys. Let's have movie dates. We'll just all go with a group of people. Specifically this year, a lot of great stuff is coming out, so you won't have any shortage of things to see, guys. So we went there. We saw Marty Supreme. I digress. We went there. We saw Marty Supreme. There was about, like, once again, it was a nice-sized movie theater, and there was about maybe 10 people in there, all in all. And the movie starts, obviously, right away from the beginning. I really enjoyed the movie, guys. Give you my little critique, my little review. Timothée Chalamet, I think, is an amazing actor. I think he's doing amazing choices with his roles that he's picking. I mean, the guy, he literally, I think I heard him say he asked Leo DiCaprio for advice, and Leo was like, don't do Marvel movies, don't, pick your projects, work with good people. He gave him like a list of things to do, and if you look at Leo DiCaprio, every movie that comes out is like a banger that he makes, and you want to go see it, and he's doing it with amazing directors, and working with great people. And Timothée Chalamet really took that advice to heart, because everything he's done so far seems like a perfect fit for him. He hasn't made a bad move. He did like the Wonkas, the Dunes, which, Dunes are good. They're not, the films are, I know they're made great. They're not my cup of tea. I only saw Dune 2, by the way, spoiler alert, on an airplane to Italy. So, sorry. But maybe that's not the most optimal place to watch it. But honestly, I definitely respect it. But it's just, I don't know, something about the film, I thought it was good and I liked it, but I didn't like, it wasn't how I thought, like how everybody said they love it. I didn't have that same reaction to Dune. But that being said, another ace movie that he made. And then he made Complete Unknown last year, which was, I thought, phenomenal. I love that era. I love the folk music. I love Bob Dylan. New York, that was a great move. And now he did Marty Supreme, which with a Safdie brother, who's these young one Safdie brother. They made Josh Safdie directed this. There's the other Safdie brother. He made The Smashing Machine with The Rock that came out this year, but I didn't see that, so I cannot attest to that. But Josh Safdie, this is his first solo feature since they became big. Like after, so they directed together Good Time and Uncut Gems. You probably know Uncut Gems, Adam Sandler, great movie. I didn't see that too, but Good Time, one of my I think it's a modern classic with Robert Pattinson and Benny Safdie, the other Safdie brother. He was in that with him. So Good Time was a phenomenal movie. So I was and it's one of my favorites. And I was super excited to see Marty Supreme, because bringing back like 1950s, another atomic age thing. That's a theme here, I guess, guys. Another 50s movie, and just there's this thing called auteurs, right? And I always pronounce that wrong. I don't know why. I guess because it's a French word, and I'm American. But the auteur directors, which is like a director with very specific style. Josh Safdie, the filmmaker, has such a clear, concise, intentional view of his filmmaking. Every scene is well thought out with the sound and the cinematography and the staging. And the actors just are firing on all cylinders. Timothée Chalamet is probably going to win the Oscar this year for that performance, I think. And actually, he deserves it. He was very good in that. Plays a very unlikable character. But this is the thing, guys. This film reminds me a lot of this other movie that came out this year with Austin Butler called Caught Stealing, directed by Darren Aronofsky. And they're both two like gritty New York movies. Period pieces. That was the night. Caught Stealing takes place in the 90s. This takes place in the 50s. But your characters don't have to be likable, guys. Characters don't have to be likable or do likable things for it to be an amazing movie. the social commentary in movies, the preaching in movies, those, if you want that, there are a million movies like that out there. But this movie, the thing I loved about it, I truly thought it made it great, was there's no, without spoiling anything, the lessons, go figure out the lessons yourself. These things happen, you figure out how you feel about them. And that's the best way to make a film, honestly. That's the best movies that I love, is those movies that show you things. The characters, multiple characters, are doing fucked up shit, excuse my language, and it's for you to decide what you think about it. It's not like the guy does bad and then therefore he receives a bad he goes to jail, or he does bad and everybody leaves him. He does bad, or she does bad and she gets evicted. Whatever the case is, whatever it is, characters, they don't get the repercussions they deserve. Well, this is how's life. Everybody gets repercussions they deserve. Everybody works really hard and gets what they're owed. No. So if you don't like characters in a movie, you have to watch it with that thought process of like, all right, is the movie trying to tell me something or just show me something? And for me, Marty Supreme is just showing you these characters, which are all so many great, complex characters. Obviously, the film, I didn't even say what the film is about. The film, if you don't know, is about a ping pong player, Marty Mauser, Timothée Chalamet's character, and he pretty much is just, he wants to be the best at ping pong, and everything else in his way, whether it's women, his mom, whether it's his friends, it doesn't matter. He needs to be the best and be the number one, be the champion. And people are like, oh, that's like that, I don't agree with that thought process, or that's such a horrible person, that's such a horrible character. But how do you feel about the movie? It's not. This is me. I'm not trashing people who don't like the movie, but this is my love letter to the movie. I guess I do love the movie. I keep on saying I love it. And for me, the film was had. I'm gonna put it to you like this: how I knew I was gonna love it was in the beginning. The first scene, there's a sex scene, and the sex scene is shot through. You see it through a shoe shelves. He works in a shoe store. You see it cut on the inside of the shoe shelf coming out. That's an intentional filmmaker. Everything he does after that is like, I'm in. You got me with that first scene. And Tyler Creator's in it. He's an amazing actor too. Who else is in it? The guy from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary. He's in it. Gwyneth Paltrow is amazing in it. A great performance by Gwyneth Paltrow, actually, as and it's very complex because she plays an actress in that, and she plays a person who kind of you feel, this is my opinion, you feel like she was Marty Supreme when she was younger as an actress during, I guess, the golden age of filmmaking. And then she's a little older and she's married to the Kevin O'Leary character, who's a CEO of a pen company. And she kind of like settled for like, oh, now I'm like still beautiful, but I'm out of my prime and I'm not the best, so I'm settling my life now for like a good life, not a life maybe that I necessarily want, but like a good life. I have a husband that provides for me. I have some status, all that stuff. And you have that look at it, like what Marty could become, if when he gets older and when he gets phased out, because in the film, Marty's character, Timothée Chalamet's character, has so much energy. He's always firing on cylinders. He's pretty much a con man, but he also is a great ping pong player. It's just everything else in his life he seems to be a con man with. And can he sustain that? And can he sustain that mindset of, I always want to be a winner and I don't want to be held down? And I think the end is really telling what happens at the end. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's really telling on like, what is that mentality? Is the mentality of somebody that just wants to be the best and you can't hold him down or her down? Will that person ever lose in life? What is losing? What is winning in life? It's all these questions. When it makes you think of questions, I really love the movie. So I guess I'll do my if I didn't like the movie, if the movie wasn't for me, if I liked it, if I loved it, or if I thought it was one of like my favorites of all time. And I can't say Marty Supreme is one of my favorites of all time because it came out, but I loved the movie. So I'll give it, loved it, thumbs up, guys. The next film, it's 3 films here, guys. So if you're still listening and you like what you're hearing, that's great. Jay Kelly, I watched. That's a Noah Baumbach film. That's on Netflix. You could see that on Netflix. It's on Netflix right now. Noah Baumbach's the director writer. There's another writer. I don't remember that person's name. Oh wait, no, it's Emily Mortimer. Emily Mortimer, the actress. She also helped write this movie. She's in it too. I think I messed her name up, but she's in it. She does her first screenwriting thing. She's a great actress too. But she co-wrote this movie, so that's pretty cool with Noah Baumbach. It's starring George Clooney as essentially George Clooney, really. Now I'm not saying that it's George Clooney, but it's a George Clooney type of character, a very handsome elder actor who's making movies, and he's kind of like at a crossroads of his life, where he's like he's thinking about retiring, and he's thinking about what his life really is. Like, he's looking back at his life, thinking about, like, what is my life? Is my life what I wanted it to be? And to be honest with you, a lot of my stories and a lot of things that I find very artistically stimulating, things that I really love, is people looking in retrospect about their lives. If you listen to my music, my rap 2025 rap for Spotify, you know, like, I love Tom Waits, and that's the kind of stuff that I love. A kind of introspective, what is my life? Where is it going? What has it been? I love that kind of reflection, because I think we all reflect on this all the time, you know? And whatever answer you come to is your own beautiful answer, but I'm a sucker for that. And, you know, there's something that I thought about when I was watching Jay Kelly. So Jay Kelly, he's an actor and he's thinking about retirement, and then he has this whole crew of people. Laura Dern is one of the characters, who is one of, I don't know exactly what she is, but she's either his assistant or his agent or manager. She's one of them. You know, there's like a billion of these people that work for big megastar actors, so I don't know which one she is, but she's one of them. And then Adam Sandler is I would say co-lead, probably more of a supporting, but co-lead he's the agent who's like loves George Clooney. And then you have the whole cast of people around that are kind of his like entourage, in the sense that they help him do it. Like, he doesn't have to worry about anything, and they just take care of everything for him. So I love movies with characters that are introspective. The thing that I think is hard for a movie like Jay Kelly is that it's about a huge, big movie star, right? Who is reflecting on his life and upset with it, right? And I think that could sound very, what can it say? How can I say this? That could sound very entitled, right? You could sound like an entitled asshole, right? Like, oh my gosh, my life sucks. You know, I'm just an actor. You know, I'm a millionaire, but like, my life has just been shit. Like, I'm not really happy, you know, with my life. And that is very interesting, because that's a human experience. But I think that the movie, that there's a line, there's a very thin line between people like, I don't give a shit about a famous actor who has problems, because it could get too industry. It could get too like funny in industry. And I think this movie, when I say that, is like, it could get like too like, oh, is his name, the title character, Jay Kelly, is Jay okay? Everybody, like, is Jay okay? We love Jay, this, and it's like, there's something very fake about that world, the acting world, right? And the movie is a very thin line, right? The movie does tread that thin line very carefully, and sometimes it goes over that line, but I think for the most part, it did make you care about the George Clooney character. So I'm just going to start it off. The first scene is, which once again, Noah Baumbach beautifully directed this movie, because it's like a very beautiful choreographed. I don't know if it's a oneer. That means like one shot, like they didn't cut at all. But it's a very beautifully choreographed scene where they're shooting. Jay Kelly is doing his rap, his final scene in a movie. He's shooting his final scene in a movie that looks like a beautiful 1950s film noir, which I would love to see that movie. whatever that movie is. I would love to see that. And he's shooting it, and he does the final scene, and you see the choreograph is the back, like the agent, like Adam Sandler's character is talking on the phone. Yeah, Jay's doing great. This, that, he's always nervous. This and that, and then the camera will go to like the Laura Dern character saying something, and then it will go to his like hair and makeup lady, and then it will go to the director, then it will go to Jay Kelly, and just like setting up the scene, and then he does the scene, and then the scene's a wrap, the scene's over, and that's when the oneer stops. I think it's a oneer. That's when the choreograph stops, and the scene. So that's beautifully. It starts out beautiful. It starts out. You're like, oh, you're in, you're invested, and you're like, oh wow, this looks like the movie. Like for anything, the movie's shot beautifully, and the movie is beautifully directed. Also, the acting is also, how can it not be great with the actors involved? But the so that's how it starts out, and then afterwards, he's kind of like, he's an older actor. He's thinking about his life, and he's like, I don't know if I want to keep on doing this. He has a strange, one daughter she's turning, I think 18. She's going to Europe on vacation with her friends, and another daughter who's, I think 35, same age as me. He has a daughter who's 35 who she is living her life and not really sees him that much, and is running a daycare. That's her passion, and she's really happy in her life. So we end up going through, somebody close to him dies, and they go to the funeral, and it kind of really makes him start reflecting on things past. Like Billy Crudup has a really, really interesting supporting role. I'm not going to call it a cameo, even though I think it's like only a few scenes, but he's great in everything he's in all the time, I think, even when he's in it for a second. But I Am a Golden God, Almost Famous. If you don't know, that's him. If you don't know that movie, go watch that right now. One of my favorite movies ever. Almost Famous. So Billy Crudup plays like a old best friend, classmate, acting classmate of Jay Kelly, George Clooney's character, and he's like upset with him. Spoiler alert, he's upset with him. You don't get it right away, but then they start having drinks, and then he's like, yeah, you took my life, you took my girl, you went on the audition with me, you took that part, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like which this is really cool, because the movie also goes back in time, and he's visually watching different scenes in his life go down, like scenes of him in acting class, scenes in him during that audition that changed his life as an actor, scenes of him with his daughters on sets of movies. So it cuts to really cool, really interesting scenes. He also then, after that, goes to try to chase his daughter down and go see her. They're inevitably on their way to a tribute for him for a Lifetime Achievement Award in Italy. So hijinks ensue. As usual. I thought it was good. I thought it was well acted. Adam Sandler, I love in everything. I could watch him act and do anything. I had a couple problems. I took acting classes, and I would fancy myself a little bit knowing a little bit about acting. I think the acting in the movie, like the class acting classes, and some of the things were like, there's a joke. Oh, you could act. You could be captivating reading this menu, and then they do it in the movie. And I don't know. I kind of felt, even though those were well acted scenes, I felt like that was a little bit hokey, a little bit like too cliche. And then certain things in the acting class, I'm like, they didn't have enough hit, and there was some things that happened in the class that I'm like, this feels like what somebody thinks an acting class is. So it was kind of like. Basic when it came to certain things in the movie, and it wasn't something that it wasn't an extraordinary like deep dive soul search the way I think it could have been. I guess that's me putting my expectations on it, but it didn't make me really feel introspective or that I didn't feel that introspected, and I didn't feel like I thought too deeply about the character inside of me. Like I didn't think like, oh wow, where am I in life? Like I think it didn't go as deep as it could have gone. Not that it didn't have to get dark, because it really is not a dark movie, but there was something lacking in this journey. But the journey of George Clooney's character, and even Adam Sandler's character. Adam Sandler's character is an agent whose like his whole life is dedicated to this guy. and he loves this guy, but maybe he doesn't have that same love back, or maybe he does, who knows. But then, you know, he has his own family, and you find out certain things about Adam Sandler's character's life, that maybe he made some sacrifices because of George Clooney, and he's always made sacrifices for George Clooney, being his agent for 30 years. So that was very interesting, and that's why I think it's a, not for me, good, great, one of my favorites. It was a good movie. It was good. It was enjoyable. It makes you think a little bit, but I don't think it makes you think too much about it. And I don't know if that's... I would like to know if I talked... I love George Clooney. I think he's a great actor, and he's made some of my favorite movies. I would like to know his perspective of this movie, honestly. If I could ever talk to him, that would be amazing, because I would ask him, how is it like to play a character that seems so much like him as a person? You know, a good-looking, older actor guy who gets made fun of for playing himself in every movie, or who gets talking down to because he's not like a method actor. He just plays George Clooney, which is very hard to do, by the way. That's me saying that, and in the movie they say that. But you know, it's very interesting. I would like to know his thought process, because it seems like a meta thing for him. It seems like it could have been a cathartic thing for him. So I would like to know that. But I thought the movie was good. I didn't think it was anything spectacular, which it's not disappointing, but I do love everybody involved. Noah Baumbach, Greta Gerwig's in it as Adam Sandler's wife. Adam Sandler's real daughter's in it, playing his daughter. You have, what's his name? Oh, I forget. Jason. Forgot the guy in Conjuring. Oh man, how did I forget his name? He's a great actor too. He's in it. He has like a couple scenes, but I thought it was good. You know, if you want to watch it on Netflix, you might love it. You might really find it very stimulating. Go see it. It's on Netflix. The next movie I saw, also 2025, is this is the last one, and this is the last thing, because this podcast, quite frankly, has been going on for a long time. Wake Up Dead Man, directed by Ryan Johnston. It's the movie about, you know what, I forgot the character's name. Unimportant. Daniel Craig is a private detective. He did the Knives Out. It's a Knives Out mystery. So it's the Knives Out character. This is the third installment, and I think, honestly, I like this more than the first one. I did not see the second one. So there you go. There's another trend. I saw the third one, not the second one. Dune, I saw the first one, not the second one. I saw the second one, not the first one. So the third one, the good thing about these is they're like, not vignettes. They're like, oh man, what is it called when you, not analogs. Why can't I think of anything today? What's it called when you have different stories in one movie? Anthology. And I just want to tell you guys this. I said that before my phone said that, and you'll never know if that's true, but I'm really telling you, I really knew that before it came up. I literally typed it in and I thought anthology. So the Knives Out movies are anthologies, and I'm not going to go too long on this review. I thought another, I'm gonna say if it was good, if it was not for me, good, great, or one of my faves. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really good movie. It might be my favorite one of the Knives Out. Like I said, I haven't seen the second one. The second one doesn't look that great to me, and I've heard it's not great. But that being said, I don't really. Half of the time, people say things are good, I don't like, and people say things are not good, I like really like. So I have to see it myself. But it just doesn't look like, the characters don't look like I want to hang out with them, and that's kind of what these movies are. Like the first Knives Out, and Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. It's a great movie. I saw a review of it too, and before I saw the movie, and the review, I think it was Jeremy Jans. I like watching his stuff. He's one of like the most famous film reviewers. And he said, because it's about a priest, Josh Brolin's priest ends up dead, and the other priest, the younger priest, who played by Josh O'Connor, is in the church. So it's just them two priests in the church. He's sent to that church like a few weeks before, or a week before he dies, and he's giving it's during a sermon, and he dies in a room right off with he dies. The mystery is he dies right in the open, like Josh O'Connor's character could see him fall, and then everybody who's in mass runs over, and the character's dead. So it's an impossible. Josh Brolin dies. Spoiler alert. it's the plot of the movie. And then the Daniel Craig's character comes in and has to solve it because everybody thinks it looks like Josh O'Connor's character did it, right? And so what I heard Jeremy Jan say on his review was, you spend the first 20, 30 minutes with Josh O'Connor's character without even Daniel Craig being in the movie, which he's the star of the movie, that you're like, oh yeah, when he shows up, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot he was even in it, and I was having such a good time with Josh O'Connor, because in my mind, Josh O'Connor is amazing in this movie, and he plays like a reluctant kind of priest who's trying to win. It's also, it's a very interesting religious debate, like conversation too, because you have the funny Josh Brolin, fire and brimstone, and then who might be more tempted by earthly possessions, and then you have the younger guy who's has a violent past but is really a really beautiful, has a beautiful heart and has love to give, and just wants to, even though the first thing you see Josh O'Connor, he punches another priest, but you kind of feel like you don't feel, and then he says he used to be a boxer, and he gets into his past a little bit, which is you could tell he's like a degenerate kid, but he's so endearing as a priest and such like a lighthearted person that he's really trying to win people with love, not fighting people with God, but with love. And it's a really good debate. And then the Daniel Craig character comes and he's like, I'm not a believer, because he has a good Southern drawl. So he's like, I'm not a believer in your God. And they have he says something, and then Josh O'Connor, he says kind of stuff like, oh, the Bible is like misogynist, homophobic, all this stuff. And then Josh O'Connor just listens and says, yeah, or it's, and then he starts to say his like God is like, are these a collection of stories, or I'm paraphrasing obviously, these collection of stories in here, and they might just be that, or are they something that we all inherently know? And then it just becomes like a beautiful like, oh, I believe this, but we like each other. And then and so that was cool. It wasn't super preachy one way or the other, which I think is honestly great. Once again, I do not like preachy movies. You're gonna preach Catholicism, that could be a lot. You're going to preach atheism, that could be a lot. Just like have characters be characters, guys. So that's something I really appreciate in the movie. And then you find out about, I love it when it's like very much like a mystery Agatha Christie. You find out about all of the people who attended the mass and all of their situations, and it's funny, it's dark, it's just a good overall storytelling. Like I love, like, you got Josh O'Connor's character narrating everything. Oh, this is this character, this is this character. And it's done so well and not cliche. And I appreciate that. So you kind of then you start to realize everybody has a motive, and who did it. It does look like it's Josh O'Connor. Is it him? Is it one of these other people? They all could have their, like any mystery, they all have their motive, and it just becomes really interesting at the end. And then the movie also does a really funny thing where every time Josh O'Connor's saying something religious or something religious is happening, like a light will beam in the windows and stuff, and I thought that was a cool touch. So the Wake Up Dead Man, another good movie, guys. So I've been talking for over an hour, and I think you're sick of hearing my voice. So I love you guys, and have a great day. And tell me movies that you saw, books that you're reading, things you're writing. Fucking hit me up if you have my number, or or a comment or whatever, or just say them out loud, and maybe I'll hear them during my meditations. I love you guys.